So this is the end of part 1. There is a part 2, which will talk more about how Rashta is actually a victim and how she fits into the characteristics that describe a victim. It would also mention how the effect of her father returning changed my personal opinion.
That was me 6 months ago, and I didn't break my promise. I didn't say how long, but to be honest, I didn't expect that last video to do decent, let alone have comments of people actually giving feedback and actually enjoying this and wanting a part 2. Even though we're 6 months late, and I'd like to say that I got a better quality microphone and hopefully better editing skills, this is the part 2 of why Rashta is a victim. And in this, we're gonna focus on all the men who've wronged Rashta. Naturally, we're gonna begin with Rashta's father, since he is the sole reason why Rashta is the way she is. Rashta's father wasn't given a name, or at least I don't think he was, but I'm just gonna refer to him as Rashta's father throughout this whole thing. Rashta's father was introduced in episode 165, and this was the catalyst that made me begin to realize why Rashta is always in survival mode. Thank you for helping me find my daughter, Your Grace. Does my daughter know that you're secretly giving other people public information about her? Don't worry, I'll keep quiet for a price. First impressions of Rashta's father is that he's an opportunist that's scrabbling around to get money at any means possible. Go ahead and tell her. This ties into the second man who takes advantage of Rashta, but we'll get to that later. Some people end up in prison with their daughters enslaved just because they committed some fraud. I remember reading this and thinking, wait, Rashta was a slave. Wait, Rashta was a slave because of her father. Some reason it never clicked in my mind until this exact moment, and I started kind of feeling bad for her. A few days later, he goes to meet Rashta, and her face says everything. I'm proud of the person you've become. Audacity this man has, oh my god. If I could punch a screen, I would. And what's heartbreaking is the fact that Duke Ergi, the guy that told Rashta's dad where she is, being praised in the comments. Am I the only one that finds Ergi hotter and hotter? The more openly he's an evil mastermind. Live, laugh, love, Duke Ergi. Then I read this and felt so seen. I will say this, as an independent character with agency who is responsible for her own actions, Rashta is horrible. As a victim of circumstances, I feel sorry for her. Lotushu, Alan, her own father, every single man who has had a position of power in her has done her wrong, exploiting her and demonizing her when she fails or refusing to give them what they wanted. I'd say Silvershoe isn't much better, but in this case, they use each other. And I agree with everything up until that last line, because Silvershoe is not the same line as Rashta. He is way worse. He is top 10. I hate him. I'm his biggest hater. Because he has way more power in their relationship, and he exerts this power in so many different ways. He basically just used Rashta as, you know what, I'll get into this later because we're not in Silvershoe yet. In the next episode, naturally, Rashta is shaken. How dare you show your face here? Heard my daughter was doing well, so of course I had to come see for myself. Then get more of an explanation on how miserable Rashta's childhood was. Never once celebrated my birthday, and he barely even called my name. He even blamed me for his low-born status and everything before abandoning me altogether. You do not have to feel sorry for this, Rashta, but how can you read this and not feel sorry for this, Rashta? Rashta then tries to get rid of his musty ass, but then he drops a bomb on her. To keep it short, he basically tells Rashta that Duke Ergi is the one that told him where Rashta was. And obviously she doesn't believe him, because according to Rashta, that's her best friend and her closest ally. Then talks about trading or something like that. And Rashta says, how could you do that? You're a slave. Then he drops a bigger bomb. I paid the fine after saving up, and now I'm not a slave anymore. And this face, oh my god, like props to the artist. They've made so much improvement from the first panel to the last. But her face has so many different emotions, like sadness, disappointment, but also like more disappointed by herself for even considering the fact that when he becomes free, he will come to save her with him. It's as if all the hope is just drained from Rashta. You became free without me? But what about me? I suffered my whole life because of you. What about me? Oh, I was going to do the same for you. But when I went to go and visit you, I saw you were living a pleasant, cozy life with the Viscount's son. A pleasant and cozy life? She's literally still a slave. When I catch this man, when I catch him. Mind you, this is the same son who also betrays her in such an inhuman way, but we'll get to that soon. So I assumed his family would free you. The fact that this took place before meeting Silvershoe and Navir, heck, even before she got pregnant in the first place, is so heartbreaking. Because imagine he freed her she would probably not even be an empress. She wouldn't have done half the things she would have done, even though he wasn't a good father. At least he would have been present. That's the least he could have done. The rest of the episode focuses on Rashta's beef with the journalist, who is rightfully annoyed with her, by the way, since she killed his sister. And I feel like this is the best time to say that Rashta is definitely a terrible person, do not get me wrong, and don't misunderstand. But hurt people hurt people. Like, I am not trying to be her defense lawyer. She can call Saul for all I care. But I do think it's important to know why she is the way she is, and also how Sovashu and her father and every person I'm going to mention is the reason why she is the way she is. And speaking of Sovashu, he claims to help Rashta out of this if she just tells him the truth. But by now, Rashta truly doesn't trust him at all, and rightfully so, since during this whole conversation, he knows the truth. He knows what is actually happening with Rashta. He knows that that's her real dad. So if he wanted to help out, he would have helped out because he knows the truth. But he's kind of projecting and being like, oh, you're not telling me the truth. I can never help you. But you can. And I was going to talk about Sovashu next, but I feel like it makes a lot more sense to go chronologically since we are talking about why Rashta is the way she is. So if we go through her life story and through all the people she meets, in that order, it might be able to paint a more clear picture. And so for my next video, I'll be talking about Viscount Lotushu and his son. And then after that, I'll release the video on Sovashu and Urgi. The reason why I'm doing it in different parts is because it's a lot more easier for me to be consistent and I won't be sloppy with the editing. So this is the end of the video, but in the meantime, feel free to subscribe to my other account which is based on movies and anime, and I'll be back soon. Bye!